Do you ever struggle to apply your Bible in the right way? If you interpret it correctly, the application is much easier. Let's talk about that today. In our previous video, we looked at how to correctly interpret the Bible. Now that we've figured out how to correctly understand a part of the Bible, we can move on to the fun part. What does it mean for me? This is what we call application. How does what the author originally intended to say apply into my life? The whole Bible is beneficial to us in some way, but not everything applies directly to us. For example, toward the beginning of the Bible, we find laws imposing dietary restrictions. Unless you're a practicing Jew, those laws don't apply to you. I've seen people attempt to count up all the promises in the Bible and come up with numbers in the thousands. That's fine, because it reveals a God who loves humanity, but we have to be careful not to claim promises that were never intended for us. For example, Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." The NIV mentions plans to prosper. So we read it and feel comforted in the fact that God promises us endless peace and prosperity. There's only one problem. Jeremiah 29:11 is written to specific people at a specific time. If you're an Israelite living in the Babylonian captivity, then this promise is for you. Now, that doesn't mean that God doesn't want to give you peace or prosperity, but this passage doesn't tell you that. There's something else that we need to understand when applying the Bible. Some statements in the Bible are descriptive, while others are prescriptive. Descriptive statements tell us what happened. David had multiple wives, Paul harmlessly shook a poisonous snake off his arm into the fire, and some early Christians sold everything they owned and donated the money. These accounts tell us what happened, but they don't necessarily tell us what we are supposed to do. On the other hand, prescriptive statements give commands. The trick is knowing the difference between descriptive and prescriptive statements. Jesus gave the command to go into all the world and make disciples. Well, his immediate audience was those gathered on the Mount of Olives on that day. He promised that I am with you always, even to the end of the age. The end of the age hasn't come yet, so we can't wriggle out of that one. It's for us too. Sometimes prescriptive commands don't come across explicitly. When Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek," he was setting up a standard for his followers of all time. Be meek. When Paul rebuked the factions in Corinth, he was showing that this kind of thing has no place in the church. In our society, people don't like to think much. We elect politicians based on sound bites or social media posts. Few people actually sit down and think through things. We can't make that mistake with the Bible. If it's God's message to us, then it's vitally important that we know what it says and make the correct applications, the ones intended for us in the text. Hey, give me your comments below. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next time.